Okay, good. Well, the fun isn't over yet. Thanks everybody for interacting. We're going to have more interactions. So now we're going to invite and welcome our wonderful Donna Marie. And let me see here. Ask to unmute. So see if that works.
Mute.
Start video. All these new Zoom rules they have.
Oh, there we go.
Did we find you? Where are you now? Now I lost you. I got to find you again. Where are you? Ah, there we go. Ah, I see you. Now I got to pin you. There we go. Hi.
Hello.
Wasn't that fun?
Oh, yes. I love it. I love crystal bowls. Absolutely love them. So it's a beautiful way. I love because, for the way that I work is always about going in through the heart and going in and claiming, who you are from within. So it's a great way for people who've just experienced what Reese has done. It's a great way to go in to just practice the bowls and hear the vibration and see what comes back, see what they pick up. They're great openers, I find. Yeah. They're openers to different levels and different capacities. And I think that every time you do a bowl, you can receive a different message and a different vibration. So it's a great tool. Like, I highly recommend having them.
Yes. I'm so excited because I finally have one again. When I left the country and started traveling around, I had 3 bowls. One of them broke. Somebody borrowed it. The other one I gave to my shaman. And I don't know. I can't even remember if my third one is in my storage, but I haven't had them. And I can't find them here where I live in the Yucatan. So I recently found this adorable little man who has a teeny tiny little crystal store and all kinds of magical things. And I asked him, where do you get this? I haven't been able to find this. He goes, well, I go to Mexico City once a month. And whatever you want, you tell me what you want and I'll look for it. And so he just brought me back a crystal bowl. So I have my first.
Oh, that's so nice. Yeah, they are magical. They really are.
Yeah. So, all right, fantastic. Well, thanks everybody for being so interactive, and I think people were getting a lot out of that. I agree. Going back, I was taking a lot of notes. Every time Reese does this, I love, he always gives the little interpretation, and I'm like, ooh, but you're going to definitely want to watch the replay so you can check that out. And so now, because we're on Awaken Your Intuitive Gifts, and that's what we're going to be doing for the next couple of weeks is live every day. We're going to be looking and talking at all these different ways that you can open up. And a lot of the conversation so far, right, has been about this isn't a brain thing. This isn't a hard work thing, right? This isn't trying and achieving and creating this. Now, I did actually go at my spirituality that way because when my life fell apart and my business closed and when I was 29, I was like, what else is out there? So I was reading and looking, and doing a lot. And reading 5 books at once and, all that kind of thing. And that's okay if you're in that, if that's in the flow. But so tell us a little bit about how you awakened. And, we were chatting the other day about how the important thing right now, I think, is that everybody understands wherever you are on newbie to experienced, we're all awakening to a new level. Right. New things are happening, new things are opening up, and it happens different for everybody. But there's that self-judgment. I was first time I went to some a meditation type of class where somebody did the I'm just looking to mute everybody here. Um, to figure out what in the world what was going on because I saw nothing, I felt nothing, I just sat there trying not to feel uncomfortable and move around too much, but everybody else was talking about they felt this and they had the shift and some an angel was behind them and they had visions and they felt green in their tummy and they felt released and they cried and all these things. Now that's my world now, but I spent so many years judging myself and really doubting myself, and that I would have a profound experience and 3 days later I would have convinced myself, oh, I made it up, right? And not having that encouragement or that community to be able to understand that my awakening. So that's what we're going to talk with Donnie about. She's going to share a little bit and she's going to give us a lot of insight into different ways we awaken and how everybody awakens differently, and then we'll do some interactions. So
okay, so I love the fact that Rice was talking a little bit about the heart and coming into your heart to connect, because this is really where I place my attention when I work with people. And it's just for the fact that, when people are saying looking for my purpose or looking for my calling, and I don't really refer to it as that. I just call it, you return to all that you are. You are returning to your soul's essence. You're reigniting the blueprint of your soul. And so what does that mean? It means that all that you have lived, expressed, and experienced in different timelines, different lifetimes, these energy gifts are held in your soul's blueprint, and they stay dormant until it is time for you to reactivate them. Now, you may come in and reactivate them intentionally. They may be activated naturally, but everybody does have dormant gifts that can be and are meant to be used in this lifetime for whatever they're meant to facilitate for you. So what is the expression of your soul's journey in this lifetime? What are you here to live, express, and experience by your presence being here in this life? So when I started, I was feeling things when I was very, very young, very intuitive, and I would have little premonitions. I could feel things, I could hear things. I always had like, what do you call those? I called it my imaginary friend, but I realize now it was not imaginary.
Yeah, they thought I just lived in that world.
Yeah, she's always talking to her imaginary friends. And I'm like, no, they're talking to me. And she's like, so I just thought it was normal until I started engaging with others and realizing people weren't having the same experience as me. And I learned very quickly to kind of readapt myself to what was expected of me and not really be how I felt. So I turned it off quite quickly. And it was in my 20s that I started getting into meditation. And then it was just a normal being brought back to what felt comfortable for me and aligning and connecting. But it was when I had my daughter, it was the birth of my daughter, that literally a floodgate of all these different abilities that I do came out all at once. And it was too much. And thank God I had a mentor at the time who was explaining all these different things that were happening to me, because I thought I was losing my mind. I mean, it felt like it. I was having people coming and talking to me and asking for help, and can you send me over here and call them? And I'm like, whoa, what the hell is going on? Started to see, a spirit so live and walking through my house, and I'm like, hello. So it was too much too soon. And I learned that we can move aside what we don't want to do and just zone in on what we'd like to work on and then move from there. So the fact that I was a new mom for the first time, I really wanted to focus on being a mother. And this was all very interesting, but I was like, I'm not ready for this. And then, my mentor said to me, well, there's two things that you're being called on to do now. So you need to refine these two. And then as you move along, should you wish to open up the other doors, you can. So it wasn't really until later in life, when my daughter was in her teens, that I started stepping back into my spirituality. Kind of came in as default. I took a course in tapping, and I was naturally very good at it. And in my second certification, the teacher had told me, she says, you should really consider doing this. You have a very good ability. And I kind of just went, yeah, it's, a fun thing to have, but I left it kind of at that. And what happened was, when I would tap, spirit would come in and work right through me. And they started doing incredible healing through me. And I was watching what was happening. And within an hour, you're watching somebody completely transform and change. And I was like, holy shit, like this is something. So I'm thinking I should do this a little more. And a long story short, it became like that. And the more I was working with spirit, I kind of dropped the tapping, not because it doesn't work, it works very well, but I didn't need to. Spirit, it's like, as you do, it is done. The more I was doing my practice, the more refined my abilities became, the more different abilities were shown to me, and then they were governing me on how to use them. And it was through working through clients, and eventually, what they call me, my nickname for my team, I call my team management, they call me Wi-Fi. So they just place me where they want me to be. and they come through and work through me. And so, when I started doing these telesummits, and we've spoken about this, you and I, Nan, I've only been doing them for the last year and a bit. I was doing my practice and I wasn't doing anything outside of that. And it was my team who came forward and said, we need to reach more people. We want you to get out there because we're going to move through you. We have work to do, and we're using you, for lack of a better word, to reach these people. And so I was like, okay, fine. And as soon as I opened that door, I literally had one after the other being invited on to do these summits. And what was happening when I go into my alignment, just as you did your grounding today for everybody, getting everybody into a place to receive, I do that prior to every time I work with a client. I do a meditation for my alignment, then I do one for theirs, and then I do a combined. And I connect with my light team, I call in their light team, and I ask for the governance of whatever this person is meant to receive, that the information come forward for their highest good. So they start streamlining all the energy through me. And when I was doing the summits, they were telling me, so I was getting in alignment. They're like, no, you don't have to do that. You're already in vibration. We just need you on the call. We're doing everything else. So I was like, what? What about my talk? What about my, yeah. No, it's nice. It's good. It'll be helpful. But we have it from here. So, it was a humbling experience, right? So they were telling me after I do these summits, what they had done, the clearings that took place. I was blown away. So there's so much that they do through me on the call with the people who are present, and even the people who come back for the replays. I never know the extent of which their energy work is done, but I've had people write me back months later saying, I listened to the replay, this is what happened, and I'm like, oh my God. And it wasn't what I was doing, I was doing something else. So they're amazing on what they do through me. My teams, in what they are asking of me. So what my intention is from this lifetime, well, I have many different things that I'm here to be doing, but it is to re-empower others, to bring them back to their empowerment, not re-empower them, return them to their empowerment, allow them to reclaim their mastery, and whatever that means to them, and teaching them how simple it is, how effortless it is, and how imperative it is. If they want to live the full abundance in all other areas of their life, they must go back from within. You're not going to receive from the outside in, it's from the inside out. So I show people how to come back. And then once they're in their alignment, then everything will unfold for them. As you know, their gifts will start to come forward. Their abilities, as they expand, will expand with them. As they move into higher vibration, they're now in a higher vibration to receive more of vibrational gifts. So it's not like you're here with one gift or one way of doing things. It's very multidimensional, and it's really dependent on your expansion. So how often you step into this energy, how often you use it, and how you allow it to guide you. So as Reese was saying, it's like stepping out of the head and into the heart, because you can't get there through your head. It has to be through the heart. It's a heart-centered situation.
That's why there's so much frustration, right? Is because everything we've been taught, conditioning wise in cultures, is, this do it, plan it, make it happen, work hard, work harder, so on and so forth. And there's this sense, like Reese said, that there's something missing. I really don't feel, I think most people are exhausted, they're overwhelmed. They've, depending on where you are in your life arc, but many people have been through all these things wondering what in the world, what am I really meant to do? Is this all there is? And what I love is how, you were saying is you expand, then more can come through you.
Mm-hmm.
You let go of your limiting beliefs, or you do your crystal bowl and get your crystals vibrating, or you open your pineal, or however you approach it, right? For you is that path, and then who knows what's possible, right, to come through you. So yeah, to me, declaring I am a clear and open channel to the highest good, or to what's optimal at this time, and you just watch, and it's amazing, and then you expand more and more of what's happening. What kind of fears did you hit? Did you ever have a fear, like a lot of people feel, I just did a meet your angel kind of a session last week. And the lady, I said, do you have any questions? And she said, I'm a little bit scared because she used to be extremely open, right, when she was younger. And she said nobody understood it in her family. Many people have that
Mm.
experience, right? She didn't know what to do with it. She tried to figure it out. And then one day she was in the shower and a red light, like the size of another human, was in the shower where they're just like woo, woo, woo. And it scared the crap out of her, right? Like it would if you have no idea what's going on. And then we've got different institutions that fill us full of demons and fear and all this kind of stuff. So she just in that moment just shut it down. So the nice thing to know, like you were saying, is you can dial down. Oh my gosh, I don't have to be overwhelmed. And I have a client like that. She was just like, oh, just turn it on and it comes in. Like you don't have to be that way, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you can shut it down, like many of us have done at different times. And you can dial it open at a peaceful, you can ask for assistance with your own self to open it at an optimal rate that you can handle. And sometimes those big boom openings. But she was afraid. She was like, is there a dark energy going to come through me? Is there a fear? Is there something bad going to happen to me if I just open to these realms? Because I could feel people thinking that when you were saying like, oh, just open up and we'll come through and do the work. We're not typically taught to trust that way, right? So I know it was a
Mm.
progression for you, for me too. It was like, I'm doing this process. I learned this process. I do this, right? And then it was, wait, things are just happening and it's still working. And then it was all the different things combined and then being a channel for the energies. But
Mm.
you ever have that kind of fear or
Oh,
what's
for sure. When everything was coming through bombarding, I was overwhelmed because I didn't know how to deal with it, didn't know what it was. I didn't know if it was going to stay, didn't know how to get rid of it. So yeah, major fear. Very, very fearful. But the beautiful thing is when I was learning meditation in my 20s, the first thing I learned was how to anchor and ground. And this is the ABCs that it's a course I have. It's the simplest course in the world, but absolutely every single person, if they want to go and connect, they absolutely must be anchored and grounded first, because there are things out there that you do not want to be connecting to. So you need to know what your connection is. You need to have an intention of where you're sending it. And I always work with source divine light energy and only of the highest, only of the purest. And I have very strong rules of intention that I have with my team that I work with, of what I will not touch, what I will not go into, and what is not given privy to the work that I do. So it's like anything, if you're going to do something, learn how to do it correctly so that you don't have to run into those fears. But it was drilled into me through my mentor. You don't go anywhere until you've made it very clear what you're connecting with and nothing else. So I use a lot of the violet flame as the flame of protection when I do my work. I use that work. I'm using it now. I use it with all of my clients, and it's just for that protection, because even when I do work on these summits, if I do an activation, I make sure that everyone agrees to it. We all have our free will, and it's not up to us and what we think we know to impose it on another. So I always ask that they give permission to allow for this energy to come through and be in service to them. I'm also very mindful that when I do work with others, it is always, I have an agreement that it is for their highest good. And it is always, always within the parameters of what they're capable of receiving. It's super important that you're not taken outside of your comfort zone, so that the information comes in is coming in to serve you and to facilitate you, and not to freak you out.
yeah.
So these are the rules that I work with, and I'm very diligent on my rules because I do move in a high vibration. I have seen what else is out there, and I know what you don't want to connect with.
Yeah.
So it's to be vigilant. If you want to do this, learn how to anchor and ground. And then, I always say to everybody, coming back to yourself is the easiest thing you can do. You're one breath away. It's one breath back in. Literally it is. And you do want to come into your heart center. Your brain is more where ego driven, where your thoughts, your worries, your fears, your emotions, but your heart is really the compass to your soul. That's what it is. When you align to your heart, you are then connected to your soul. And when you connect to your soul, you connect to your higher self. Your higher self is connected to source divine light energy. So it's that 1, 2, 3 click. And when you move up, we call it getting your antenna up. Now you can communicate with your team of light workers, your guardian angels, your designated light workers. We all have them. We each have our own team of light workers, guardians that are here in service to us. And, you know, I'll always have people asking like, well, how do you know, and who are they? And I said, you know, some are there for your whole life. Some come in at different phases of your life, depending on what we're learning all the time. So depending on what your lessons are and what you're here to learn is that, so I equate it to like having different teachers at different levels of education. You have a kindergarten teacher, and then a high school teacher, and then the master's teachers. So it's to know that you get different assistance dependent on your own spiritual growth. And there's no, I say this to everybody, there's no, it's too late, I wish I'd done this earlier. It's like always about wherever you are now, you're in perfect timing for you. You're in perfect timing for your evolution. And it doesn't have to go too fast if you don't want it to. Again, it's to understand that you have autonomy. You know, we have our free will. So we're allowed to allow for the expansion within what we're allowing to feel comfortable with. And as we get more comforted, as we feel good with it, say, okay, I'd like a little bit more. I'm ready for a little bit more. You know, so I have prayers of intention that were channeled through my team. They do a lot of channeling through me, and everything actually that I've written, all my little prayers, all my little quotes, it's all through spirit. And it's to all help people. I set intentions to open up and what they're going to align to, what they will allow to receive. And if you do these really simple little templates, then you just let the rest go. It's let go and allow after that, you know. And I often say to clients, who are like, oh, I want this and this and this. And it's like, oof, you know, you need to remove the word want. It doesn't work. It creates resistance immediately. So just say, you know, I give myself permission to allow for, open the doors of energy so that the flow can come back to you, you know.
So let's take a minute, because you're like giving a lot of different levels of awakening your intuitive gifts. So let's go back, like people, the idea of grounding, right? You said, and clearly stating your intentions. Now, let's say you don't know. Let's say you don't know, hey, I want to talk to a guardian angel today or whatever, you know, like, so when I go into a session and it's specifically for, you know, a soul reading or to meet your guardian angel or to get, we know what our intention is. But when you're awakening, you might be like, oh, I don't know what to ask or what to say. So the biggest key though, and I'm just like you, and I had mentors drill this into me, and then I just wandered around the world touching pyramids and energies and running through jungles and doing shamanic journeys, and I really didn't respect the energies that are there, the many dimensions of energies. I really thought, oh, everything's good and happy and so on. So I've been taken over by energies in the jungle. Yeah, it's wow. And once that happens to you, like you said, once you get a taste of this or that, it's not to be afraid, it's to be aware, right? You just go, oh, I don't go in the ocean when there's giant waves that are going to knock me down, right? It's the same sort of thing. But know that even if you don't have one of these processes, or you get something from Donnie or me or one of these speakers that helps you start to know, I have a new thing on a violet flame cleanse. I'm with you, like that. If that's the only thing you do is use that to cleanse, clear, protect you, it's a powerful ray that's been anchored on the planet. So just start talking to it. And I don't know what that means. Just ask, right? Just open. So when I explained to you, kind of tuned you into the infinity healing chamber when we came in, that's the same thing. I always create the chamber. We have the specific energies. Everything is for the highest good, most optimal. So that's the other thing I told my one client is, you don't have to worry when you're in this space with me, right? Because I've been spending the last hour or so doing my work, cleansing,
exactly,
connecting to your highest good. And I said, you can ask me questions and then we'll go into the session, but what's for your best, what's for your highest good is what's going to come through, right? So whether you ask it or not, maybe it'll be an answer to that. Maybe it'll be something even better. But yes, so don't be afraid. But a lot of people used to try to open their third eye, and then people have these epic Kundalini awakenings and they're out of control and they don't know how to handle it. And it's okay if that's what happens for you, but it doesn't have to be that way. So you don't need to be afraid of your awakening if you do these things, because it's only going to be what's optimal for you right now, right? It's going to come through in that way. Then the idea that you might have these other levels and frustration, I see a lot, right? Well, I want to talk to my higher self more, or I had this one moment, but I haven't recreated it, or I want to talk to Archangel Michael or whatever, these things. And these are okay, right? Like you said, to have those intentions, but it's way more fun if you just work on cleansing and clearing yourself and say, who's the optimal energy, right?
That's right. Yeah.
You don't try to define it too much. And so then let's move to where you were. You were talking about they channel things through me. That's something I'd like to demystify as well. The idea of channeling. So I went to a channel a bazillion years ago when I first had my awakening, and I sat in the back, and I was the most suspicious person you've ever seen. I was like this with my arms, and I was just staring at this. It was a little tiny lady named Karen. She's in New Mexico. She channels an entity named Banu, who's a Pleiadian, who's really tall and all this stuff. And she would, this energy would come through, and she would talk as this Banu energy. And I would just like look for the strings, right? Like, where's the puppet strings? And I did this for like months. And I'm still like, I don't know about this. It's too good to be true. I'm not sure if I believe it. And one time we had a break, and we're walking around during the break. It was at a bookstore, and I was looking at something, and I felt this presence behind me, and I turned around, and she was standing there. But believe me, when Banu is in her, she doesn't look like a tiny little person, right? You can just feel it. And I was terrified because I was hiding. I didn't want to be seen. I don't want to talk to, I was in the back going, I don't know if you're real, And it was like, he just looked into my eyes and said a few things, one of which was, it's really important you're never alone. Now that
Mm.
sounds sort of like maybe cheesy, but for me, that was a big deal. That went right to my core, and I burst into tears. And then there was this opening, and it was just then one thing after the other. But I had that block. I had that
Mm.
suspicion. I didn't know what channeling meant. Was it just for certain people? Was it this or that? And now I'm like, I look at a musician in concert, they're channeling, right? You look at an artist who's painting, they're channeling. You
Exactly.
look at a writer writing, they're channeling. We're just being that open, clear vessel, like you said, protected and intended, and aligned with what our optimal is. And then we get to play with what comes through. So go
Yeah.
ahead and talk a little bit more about that.
Well, how it showed itself to me, and I think that I'm going to say this: every different medium, clairvoyant, psychic, everyone receives messaging differently, and it's dependent on how you receive. So that's where we are all different in our gifts. But how I receive it in different ways. I first started receiving it they would show me little videos. I would see these little videos, like almost like you watch a trailer to a movie, and it kind of gives you an idea of what the movie's about. I would be sitting with a client. So I connect with clients through the breath. So I do a breath work with every client that I work with. A breath work is in all the work that I do, because your breathing is your reconnection to soul, to your heart, and to the divine. So everything starts with the breathing first, and then we go into the session. And when the client starts breathing, I literally start picking up vibrationally their energies, what's going on. I can see blockages, I can feel things. Spirit will have me feel things in my body so that I know where it is in the body. So they start mirroring, and I never know. It could be through scent, could be through visualization. But they started using that the most. They started showing these little video trailers of things that I needed to know, like little movies. And I was like, sometimes they would talk, sometimes they would just show me, sometimes they'd like put an apple pie there, and they're like, smell that. And then it's like, I always say, it was like they give you a box of puzzle pieces, and then they threw them all on the floor, and they go, so as we start talking, you start snapping them together, and you're going to get the picture for this client. So it's not like they come in and say everything. They kind of give different little bits of pieces at a time, or sometimes it's just like, and they'll talk for 15 minutes, and you're like, oh my God. So I never know how I'm going to receive, and it's never the same for every client. It's always different. And they explain this to me: we're going to channel in the way that this person can receive the information, not how you receive it, because you can receive it in all different ways. I can smell, I can taste, I can touch, I can hear, I can receive in many ways. So they're going to talk and express themselves in a way that the client receives the information, because that's basically what's important. And I remember once having this guy who was really quite funny. And when I was channeling, Spirit started swearing, but like a sailor. And I was like, well, so I'm, kind of translating what they're saying. And they're like, hey, stop that. Say it exactly like we just said it. And so I was like, okay. I started swearing. Well, the guy just literally completely softened and burst out laughing. And this is really how he communicates. And the whole session was lots and lots of swearing, but this is where he connected. And then everybody started coming through, because I do connect with loved ones that have crossed over. And there was a grandfather that came through and he was swearing in Italian. It was hilarious. But the guy received so much information, and they're saying we had to come in like that or we wouldn't have reached him. But once that opened up, it opened him up, and then he was able to receive. So I don't question anymore what or how the energy is meant to come through. I know that if I go into my alignment and I'm aligned and I'm connected, I've done my due diligence. And then so with my team connecting to your team, they're going to bring forward the information that is for your highest good. So, when people are looking or struggling or at a turning point in their lives, or trying to figure out decisions for work or relationships or whatever, those are the times where they're so stuck in their head that they can't get to their clarity. They're spinning their wheels. And this is where people like us are great facilitators of bringing them back into their heart, if they don't know how to do it themselves. But really what I teach is how to teach you to do it for yourself, because I really believe that it's wonderful to have these abilities, but we're leaving that client shortchanged if you don't teach them how to do it for themselves. Self-empowerment, to me, I think, is the most important thing. And it's not just because I do this as a living doesn't mean you can't do it. You know what I mean? The more you do, the better you will become at it. But if you learn how to go and gather your own information, this is something that's worthwhile for your investment
so
in your life.
important. If you think about, I always say our physical reality in our body is like the center of a Tootsie Pop. And then if the Tootsie Pop was the earth, that's the rest of you, right?
Yeah.
We're giving almost 100% of our attention, or if you're a meditator or you do your process in the morning or evening or whatever, right? Maybe 90% of the day, right? You're focused in this one way, like the mind, body, and all of that. But if you gave even a quarter of the attention to this other part of you, the awakening would be profound. And when you're talking about you've just finally learned to accept comes because it's right. Well, we're blessed with the fact that we get feedback right from clients. So I was the same way. I was like, I can't say that. And sometimes in the past I would not tell them exactly what I was seeing because I thought, well, maybe it's not right. And I learned finally, just don't even say anything. I used to do soul readings where I got on, tell me your name and your birthday and where you were born or something like that. And I don't talk. And then I would talk for an hour. And then I would be like, and it was like practice for me in trusting and accepting. Just be in the flow and say it and don't worry. Because if you get in your head and go, oh no, like if you're not working with other people, you're going to still have doubt yourself.
For sure.
So, lack of acceptance. You've got to accept what comes. There were so many years when I would receive these profound images or visions or guidance, and then I would work on myself to doubt that enough that I downgraded it. Like Reese said, I took the authority away from it and I put some other authority ahead of it. So it's really important that you accept what you see. It's stunning. And if you have a chance for that feedback loop, it's quite profound. Right?
Yes.
Because people are crying. People are like, how did you know that? Or what did you do? And you do it for yourself, because when you see something, also, I like what you say is that sometimes the answer will come like, boom, there's the answer. Oh, everything's there. But it's usually you putting the pieces together. And I learned this when I became a master level hypnotherapist. I would start seeing. And I was one time shown a hose, like the faucet for a hose on the outside. I couldn't see anything else. It wasn't like, oh, you're looking at a kingdom and the person's walking through and this is happening and that. It was just kept like you were staring at this hose. Didn't look very good on the outside of a house. And now I know that you're like, okay, we're seeing a hose. What does that mean? And this and that. And what are they seeing? And back and forth. And pretty soon it's like, oh, I'm in the dark. Okay. What does it feel like? It feels like I was locked here, right? Or whatever. And pretty soon it might be a dungeon, and then it's this and that. And it's like the journey or the story unfolds, and in a way that either they can understand, because
Mhm.
for me too, I prefer if you get it, right?
Well,
Like
this is
I'll
it.
guide you, but then
Pointless otherwise.
I
Yeah.
want you to, because the difference I saw in hypnosis, and now I combine that with energy work and shamanism and all that, but the idea that a reading, it's fun, right? If somebody says, oh, you were this in another life and you have these and you're got this, and your heart's open and you're ready for this and all that, that's really fun. And it does often really help you understand, oh, okay, things are really happening, other people see it. But it's much more profound when people would tell me, I don't even believe in past lives. Okay. But I just experienced one, and I was beheaded and this and happened. And now I understand why I'm afraid of money. Like when you see that, it's like stunning, right? So both of these things, this is important that you apply these to yourself, right? And you don't put anyone on a pedestal. You don't put us on a pedestal. You don't put, any gurus. It's wonderful to have mentors, but that's what we have, right? We have guides that come along that give us little bits of information and help us at different times so we can go on our journey. So accept what comes to you. Don't rush to trying to analyze it and decide what it means. Let that picture unfold for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For sure. And it's different for everybody, it really is different for each person. And I think that the more time you spend going in and allowing it to unfold, the more you're going to see of it, like I remember when we had talked about this, when I was doing my meditation and I was doing the anchoring and grounding, and I was doing this technique that's an old technique, but I still use it because it's so good. It works very, very well. And I remember telling my mentor, I said to her, I don't feel it. I don't feel connected. So I said, check, make sure I'm connected. And she checked and she goes, yeah, you're connected. I'm like, well, why don't I feel it? Like if I was connected, shouldn't I feel it? And she kept saying to me all the time, she's still laughing. She's like, get out of your head. Get out of your head. She says, you're looking for a result. You're looking for something. She goes, it's not like that when you do energy work. You'll know, you'll feel it. I'm like, yes, you keep telling me that, but I'm not feeling it. She's because you're looking for it. Stop looking for it. I'm like, well, then how will I know? She goes, you'll know. So this was the question I used to ask her all the time. I would do the anchoring, the grounding. I'd do my connection. I'd connect to my team. And then I would wait for something. And then I'd do it again the next night, wait for something. And I'd be pissed, I'd come out of my meditation like, well, there's another night I'm not connecting. And I'm not happy with myself. I'm thinking, well, there's something missing, or I'm not doing it right. So then I call her back, okay, this is how I'm doing it. This or not, like, what is, she's, you're fine. You're doing all fine. I'm like, so I'm not joking. And I'm sharing this because people need to know that we are always the ones standing in our own way. Okay. So she had said to me, you're connected. But as long as you think you're not connected, you're holding a resistance to your allowing it to unfold. Stop thinking of how you think it's going to unfold or what you think you're going to feel, and just give yourself permission to stand in it and align to it and allow it to come to you. But I was a very goal-oriented person back then and very driven. So I was just like, no, there's got to be an end thing. So that was one of the big lessons for me, is that it took me, and I never stopped. I would meditate every single night, but it took me 10 years before I felt the connection. And when I did, I was distracted. And I make this, through your center cable, I made the silver cord, and my whole body yanked like this. I'm like, whoa. And then I'm like, oh shit, I'm in. And I was so excited. Oh
Banging on the door, banging on the door, banging on the door. Oh, there's no door. Oh, okay.
Oh my God, that's it. That's how it feels. And so then every time I do it, that was the connection I was feeling. And then spoke to my mentor and I said, oh my God, I felt it. And she laughed and she goes, you weren't thinking of it when it happened, were you? And I said, no, I wasn't. And she goes, in that little window, they got in because you weren't in your mind. You just let it happen. And she goes, so this is rule number one when you're doing energy work. Get out of your head, get into your heart. Know that if you're doing it, it is being done. And if you're looking for and you're waiting on, you're just waiting, pushing it further and further away from you. So that was a big lesson for me, but I had the tenacity to keep doing it every night, trusting that when she says, you're done, you're done. So the irony is that 10 years of just doing, trusting that I was in, I mean, I was feeling a lot of other things, but I just wanted to feel that connection to the grounding, you know, and I wasn't. And I had met this woman who was a beautiful psychic, and she was reading me, and she goes, "Oh my God," she goes, "you ascend really, really high. Like you're really connected." And I'm like, "Really?" She's like, "Don't you know?" And I'm like, "Nope. I'm just receiving information. They're saying who they are. That's it." She goes, "Oh my God." She says, "You are," da, da, da. So she's telling me how high up I am. And I think honestly, I got that high through just meditating and thinking, I'm doing it, I'm doing it, I'm doing it, doing it until it's done. You know, so what I would say to people now is just go into your heart, you know, make your intention align to your team. And I have a prayer of intention. I'm going to read it, and I'm going to send it to you. You could put it on the YouTube or on the page. This was a prayer of intention that was channeled for myself, of when you come into your alignment, what you're choosing every day to connect with. Okay. And I can read it for you. I just go in and make my own connection. I talk to my team, and I only take one breath to come in. I'm in like that. And then I just do all the work. So it was all this meditating, breathing, and learning how to use the instruments that came forward through me, the different abilities that I have, and understanding that they're coming out at different times in my life to facilitate different things that are happening on the physical world. So there's not a cap to what you can do or what you're capable of doing. It's really dependent on how much you choose to expand within your abilities, and then how high you're willing to go vibrationally to see them, because they can all expand into something else, you know. So it's like the caterpillar into the butterfly. It's constantly moving. So I'm going to read the intention. That this is what I usually give to clients when they say, well, what should I say if I want to just step into my heart and start my day? So I'm just going to read this, and I'm going to forward you the intention. So once you've stepped into your heart, and you just take, I always say, deep breath in. You know what? Let's just do this for everybody. Okay. Hang on, because now they're talking. Okay. Okay. Do you mind? They're asking if we do something for the collective on the call right now.
Sounds great.
Okay. We're going to do something first for the collective, and then they're saying close with this so that they can hear it. And then, you know, we'll post it, and they can have it, and they can refer to it for themselves. They're going, before we do this, they want to do something. So hang on just 1 second. Okay. What they're coming through is they're asking for everybody on the call to let go of any resistance that they're holding on to. So resistance, conscious or subconscious. So this is for anything that you feel you're maybe not ready to step into it, afraid of what you're stepping into, not sure of what you're stepping into, don't know if this is for me, what's going to happen to my life. Because a lot of people have resistance, like, is this going to take too much space? Am I still going to be able to do my job? Can I still be? So whatever the word resistance means to you on a conscious level, or whatever it could be on a subconscious level, because resistance often comes through, especially if you are a light worker that's has a lot of gifts. We have resistance from past lives of like, it's not safe to do that again. Okay. So we all know that.
Damn straight. Oh my God.
Exactly. So they're asking, before we do this, they're saying, let's just clear any resistance from anybody on this call. This is also going to be good for anybody who comes back to listen to the replay. And any other time that you feel like you're holding resistance, come back and listen to it again, because they're allowing for the purification and transmutation of anything you're holding on to that is no longer yours, or that is not in service to you. Okay, no, they're saying, let's go. Okay, so I'm just going to ask everybody to take a deep breath in. You can close your eyes if it makes you feel better. I like it because I feel like it brings me inward. And I'm going to ask everybody to raise their palms upward. So our palms are portals. And it's like giving spirit permission, like we're showing that we're here to receive. Okay. So I'm going to just start with an opening prayer, and then, oh yeah, they're activating my hands. So there's going to be a lot of work that they're bringing in right now. We're going to do an opening prayer, and all I ask that you say, I allow. After the opening prayer, you can say it internally. You can say it out loud if you want, but you do have to give spirit permission to step forward and be in service to you on your behalf. Okay. This is your free will. Yes. So we're going to take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. We're going to do this 3 times. Deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. One more time. Deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Father, Mother, God, as meant and appropriate, call upon my own team of healing masters, guardian angels, designated light workers, and I ask that they step forward on my behalf, always within the parameters of what I'm capable of receiving and always for my greatest and highest good. Also calling in the integration of the violet flame that be placed directly behind me, and ask for the interdimensional light working systems to be blessing, healing, clearing, and transmuting all thoughts, worries, fears, or emotions, anything that I'm holding on to, anything that is taking space within me, or any energy that is depleting me and not allowing me to step into all of my light, all of my clarity, and all of the expansion of my soul's essence. I give myself permission and the team of my own to be in service to me for my greatest and highest good. As I let go, I allow. So you're just going to say, I allow. And take another deep breath in again. And breathe out. Call upon the highest and the purest of the divine light workers to be in service to me. And I give myself permission to release and let go of any form of resistance that I'm holding on to mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally. From all timelines, lifetimes, realms, or dimensions, any karma that is also taking space within me vibrationally, lowering me or diminishing me, or not allowing me to be in the full and fully ignited in all that I am. I ask that I receive, free of fear, whatever I am meant to move forward into in present time, allowing any resistance, any worry, any anxiety, any stress, that it is not the right time, that I am not ready, understanding fully that my heart will never guide me to anything that is not meant and appropriate for me, as I relinquish and release all thoughts of my mind that are congesting me, lowering me, and not allowing me to step into all of my vibratory alignment. I choose to feel safe, releasing anything that is taking space within me that is no longer in service to me. As I let go, I allow. So take a deep breath in again. And breathe out. Releasing myself, my mind, my body, and my spirit of any emotional entanglement, worry, fear, anxiety, stress, and overwhelm about stepping into all that I am. I choose now to align to the essence of my soul's journey, all that I have come to live, express, and experience in this timeline. I choose to return with joy, with excitement, with anticipation, allowing the evolution of my soul's journey and all gifts and abilities that I hold within the blueprint of my soul to now be revealed to me, but always in perfect timing for me, so that there's a beautiful balance and union with my physical life and all that I am meant to integrate in this life, free of fear. As I let go of all resistance that does not support me, any vibrational energy that is diminishing me, I allow it all to be lifted, purified, and transmuted now. Take a deep breath in and breathe it out. I choose to feel safe reconnecting to the divinity that is me, to the sovereignty of my I am presence. And I choose to step in awakened and realigned to my self-mastery, choosing to interact and breathe back into life the gifts that I'm here to facilitate and that are meant to be lived and experienced through me and for the greater good of humanity. Whatever that is, I allow. Take a deep breath in again. And breathe out. Stepping back into the dance and the song and the harmony and the light that is me. And bridging all gifts that I'm here to experience, lining up vibrationally to the abundance in every area of my life that is meant to be lived and expressed through my soul's purpose, I allow. Allowing the inner voice to govern and guide me and lead me to the greatest journey that my soul is here to express. Now I'm just going to read now the prayer of intention. Today I hold the intention to live in full color of my soul's essence, to connect to the highest and greatest aspect of myself vibrationally, allowing all of my gifts, talents, and abilities that I have gathered across all lifetimes and timelines to be integrated into this lifetime now. It is from this place of I am presence and awareness that I give myself permission to align and receive all of the abundance that is me. This or anything greater than this, I allow. And so it is. Take a deep breath in. Breathe out. And let go. Yeah, thank you. That's good.
Nice. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, you can come back to these to re-listen, and then pretty soon, you're going to be able to understand the essence, right, of the words, and maybe choose different words that resonate for you, or
Exactly.
right. And
Exactly.
some people like God, and some people like, higher self, and some people like source, and just don't let the verbiage get in your way, because
No, and
that
these
was
are
a
just
big hang up for me a long time.
guidelines. I just get up every morning, I put my feet on the ground, I call in my team, I'm like, I'm expecting magic and miracles. I'm expecting it. And today, all I'm choosing is to live the full expression of all that I am and all of my gifts, all of my abilities. Let's go. That's it. Boom.
Yeah, and then you don't sit around, like we were saying, looking for it, and it's
No.
not going to happen, and all of that, right? Getting depressed. So, Jade said, Donna, thank you. That spoke to my heart and soul, and deep gratitude for this amazing letting go of anything that does not serve me, so I can come from my highest good. I love the prayer too. Thank you. I'm rejoicing all of who I am now.
Beautiful. Yay, yay,
Tamara,
yay.
Tamara said, thank you. Letting go of the resistance speaks to me, and openness. So here's a couple of questions you want to answer.
Sure.
So Apurva said, how do I get rid of violent thoughts, victimizing ones in the right portion of my head?
How do I get rid of violent thoughts?
Yeah, a victim and violent thoughts. And apparently just in the right portion of her head, she feels like that she has these thoughts that are victimizing thoughts. I'm if you're able to type again, Apurva, and say, clarify, is this victimizing, like violent thoughts that someone's going to attack you, like we're afraid of
I think
being
that's what she's saying, being
being
attacked.
intuitive?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I might. So this is right away. I'm going to tell you this is old karma that she's holding on to from a past life, and I feel like I'm picking up her energy. She was brutally abused. Like I feel like she's being torn apart. So, yeah, wasn't good. And I feel, yeah, I'm also seeing poverty with this too. So it's like the good and the bad, the rich and the poor. There's a lot of opposition in her vibration. Okay, duality. It's to, oh, I wish she was here. Let's do this for her. Okay. Everything that I'm holding on to that is no longer in service to me, thoughts, worries, fears, or emotions that are absent in search and need of the light, it is safe now to bless it, heal it, clear it, transmute it, release it, and let it go. Releasing this and letting it go. Anytime where I've been made a victim, or I'm afraid of being victimized, for not being given permission to be seen in all of my light, all of my gifts, and all of my abilities, where I am ostracized, burned, hung, killed, ran out of, not being safe to be seen, not being safe to be loved, not being loved because of these gifts and abilities. So it is not safe to be me. It is not safe to be seen. It is safe now to bless anything that I have lived and that I've carried across any other timelines, lifetimes, realms, or dimensions that are no longer in service to me. Any oaths that I have taken to never reclaim these gifts for fear of being misled with them, or I am misleading others, or they're feeling too overpowering for me. I give myself permission now to acknowledge that these fears were maybe truthful in another timeline, but they do not belong in this timeline nor this lifetime. And as with this awareness, I choose now to simply bless it, clear it, transmute it, release it, and let it go. All that is not mine, all that does not serve me, all that does not support me, clearing it, transmuting it, releasing it. As I release, as I let it go, I really claim my light, my sovereignty, my divinity, and I step back into the truth that is me. It is from the truth and the divinity of my I am presence that I rise up, where I am able to see with absolute clarity all that I'm here to live and express and experience free of fear. As I let go, I allow, and so it is. Deep breath in and letting it go. So that's for anybody who holds on to fear about coming back because they've lived terrible experiences, you know, fearful of their gifts. But if she comes back and does this, she holds that, there's a vibration that she holds that is, and she holds her breath too. So she should listen to this and just every morning get up and just say, it's safe to let this go. But if she just does it one time, it's gone. It's gone. But then come back and get into the seat where she wants to be. You know, if you don't want to get on a bike, don't get on the bike, get in the car. Like,
I like that.
I need to get somewhere faster, then stop getting on your bike, get in the car, you're going to get there faster. So make the proper choices that go with that. If you say, yeah, but what if it comes back? Well, you've just brought it back again by thinking about it. Energy moves as quickly as it goes, it can come back. So be mindful. After you release something, I'm choosing now to be in my light, to be free of fear, to claim all that I am, and to live that full expression. And you stay in that vibration. And if you want, you hold yourself in a higher vibration by saying, you know, this is going to be easy for me. I'm allowing for this. I'm returning to who I am. I'm aligning back to all that I know. This is your ease. It's your flow. It's your alignment. It's easy to do.
It's interesting too, because this is what we do, right? We have, like you said, it happens in that instant, and it does. And then you say, but I don't feel it, right? Like we were talking about it. I don't sense it, or what if? All right. That's that, right? That masculine side, that logical side that says, well, what if? And I'm looking for proof, and I need to know. And did I complete it? And did I do it right? And all this stuff. And it's really, important to reinforce. So this is true for any kind of mind rewiring or habit changing, right? Any of that stuff. You can energetically and spiritually completely let it go, but your body is holding memories and habits, and your brain still has neural pathways that are going down the fear path or whatever it is. And it looks to me like the right side of her head, one of the reasons it's holding was like, oh, bashed in kind of, right? And so energetically, this is what's been going on for, I don't know, at least 10 years for my clients. Is I call it the burned at the stake syndrome is coming up, right?
Yeah.
If I acknowledge that I'm different, or that I'm talented, or that I'm psychic, or I'm spiritual, or I have intuitive gifts, or whatever, my parents won't like me. I'll be outcast. I'll be beheaded. I'll be, whatever. And just because we typically don't burn people at the stake anymore doesn't mean that it doesn't happen in other ways.
You're ostracized in other ways, though.
In other ways, right? Yeah, you're criticized or humiliated, or you might be disowned. I know a lot of people who are afraid that their family will literally disown them if they know they're receiving messages from, something like that. So the other thing is we're all releasing that, and the earth is releasing that.
Exactly. There's a purge that's taking place for everybody right now. And it's so that we shift into the higher vibration, and it's necessary. This is a part of the ascension process. The old has to come up. It has to be brought to light. It needs to be cleared, because whatever the energy is, it must be transmuted if we are going to move into a higher vibration. You can't carry that low density up with you. It doesn't work that way. So those who are in a high vibration should maintain their vibration by just maintaining the vibratory alignment that they're in, keeping that vibration high with how they keep it high. And I know it's different for every single person, but when you learn how to maintain your vibration, you hold that vibration for those who are moving into the ascension. But there's got to be a purchase that takes place. And this is what 2020 and 2021 is all about.
And you are, guess what? When you work on yourself, you are doing the best thing for everyone, because
you are.
When you free this, suddenly it's easier for other people to do it, right? When you do maintain your frequency at a higher state, and go to the shop and get the free scale. So you know what we're talking about: higher states, acceptance, harmony, inspiration, instead of guilt, shame, victimhood, anger, depression, craving, all these things. It's the normal place people live. And this is where you want to be. So it does take effort. It does take repetition. When you were saying, I just kept doing it again because I didn't know I was in alignment. That is one way to build a new habit, right? It is one way to rewire your mind. And if you reinforce that with expanding your trust, well, it must be happening, right? That part of it. So really understand that when these fears come up, if you accept them, that means you're not choosing them, but you're allowing them to come up. They're going to give you back some wisdom and power as it transmutes with the
They
violet
become
flame.
self-governing. That's what they do. They start showing you, it's like you come back to you and then you start showing yours. Your higher self is schooling you along, basically, is what's happening.
Yes, exactly. So then Tamara had asked best advice for holding a higher vibration consistently and staying connected with spirit. And you kind of already talked to that. It's do this work and do it consistently and do it again and pay attention to the scale and know where you are and find your prayers.
Yes, I agree. But for people who say, well, what does that mean? What does that mean? You know what? When you feel good, you're in a good vibration. Okay. So whatever you do that makes you feel good, do more of that. Whatever makes you feel passionate, do more of that. Whatever makes you feel creative, do more of that, because that will facilitate a high vibration. Joy, love, happiness, passion, things that wake you up are your key to high vibrations. You might love listening to music, listen to high music that's very uplifting. That puts you in a very high vibration. Laughter moves us up the scale so fast. When you do multiple laughing, like peeing your pants laughing, that moves people up so high, so fast. So it's not, like you don't have to go and say, okay, I got to go in my alignment, I do my thing. No, you do your grounding, you make your connection, you set your intention for the day. Your due diligence is just by being happy.
I know, it's so hard. I had that same channel said that to us once. He said, everybody wants, like, what's my purpose and what should I do this important thing and I have to be a star and he said, what if you got absolute unequivocal guidance that your job was to sit in front of the window and stare out of the window, and that's what you were going to do, your job for humanity? We'd be like, oh no, that's not important enough, right?
Yeah. But being you is important enough, and that's the thing. We are all here with different vibratory alignments, and it's to help everybody shift up. So you just stepping into you, doing you every day to the best of your ability within that day, you can't do more than that. Mm-hmm. You can't. And then the next day, when you know better, you do better. When you move up higher, then you learn to move a little higher. So it's just about allowing yourself to come in and play. Play with yourself. Let's see what's happening today. Let's see what's going to unfold today. Let's see what other gifts I do. I was going to say, what else can I do? I do this every time. Yes. What else can I do? Yes. What else can I do?
Receive, breathe, and see the beauty, right? Well, Apurva said, yes, I feel that femininity is hurt and abused. And also she said that she feels so light and all the lifetimes she's been killed for expressing her truth.
There you go.
So that's that, and this is so true for everybody, that if you feel that, please embrace it, accept it, allow it to move through you, allow it to speak to you. Practice awakening your gifts to receive, oh, what is this? I forgot about you, and let it move through you, because then you can transmute it and receive more energy back.
Exactly.
Annie says that when she receives energy healing, it makes her feel worse than beforehand. She feels
often that can happen because you can pull up the residue of emotion, which you're going to feel it when it comes up. But if the person working with that person is transmuting the energy, so feelings and emotions hold a vibration. So when you're bringing that energy back to the surface, it must be transmuted. You have to bring it to a 0 point field. And you can't put a positive thought over a negative, because the negative is going to trump. So you have to transmute. You need to work with someone who's going to be using the energy fields that are going to be using the transmutative systems to purify these emotions. But once they come up, you're going to feel them. But the minute they're cleared, they're gone. And even if you talk about them, they will not come back to you with the same intensity as you just had. So this is called a purifying the energy fields. Energy, once it's tangible, you can't destroy it, but you can clear it, and it needs to be clean. If you're doing any kind of emotional healing, you need to be transmuting the energy. The person needs to be facilitating transmutation for you, so that that energy is lifted and cleared, and then you can now re-imprint, because it's all ourselves. I mean, when you think about it, everything you've ever lived and experienced in your entire life, you hold a cellular memory for.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
So when stuff comes up, you're going to feel it. But then if you open the door and let it out, it's out, So it's also very liberating.
It is. And
you should feel a lift after.
You don't have the pressure or the tension and the stress, and you're not holding it in the body, and you're not creating that disease or the resistance.
Exactly.
Right. Cheryl wanted to know, how do I get rid of limiting beliefs of poverty and in relationships? And those
Oh, and they
are
go
tied
hand in
together, right?
hand. I
Yeah.
know. Doesn't that
Sex,
suck?
love, and money.
Okay. Well, what's her name? Cheryl?
Yeah,
And
Cheryl.
just repeat the question again. What does she want to know?
How do I get rid of limiting beliefs of poverty and in relationships? So
Okay,
limiting.
so limited beliefs of poverty and in relationships comes to do with self-worth, what you believe you are deserving of. So the issue is not about the relationship, and it's not about the money. You need to come in and look at what your self-esteem is like, how you value yourself, how you see yourself. And I hate to say in comparison to others, but when you have a limited belief about yourself, you are always comparing yourself to others, how they look and what they've earned and what their education is and where they live and what's their car. I mean, it's exhausting, first of all, because you're always gauging yourself against somebody else. And I don't think anyone should do that. You are who you are, and you have absolute particular gifts that are solely yours. So please don't try to be someone else or compare yourself to someone else. Take the time to come back in and find out who you are. But it is always an insecurity of, I don't deserve this, or it's never going to happen to me. I'm always the unlucky one, or I'm a little too old, a little too fat, a little too late, blah, 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 blah. You can make a million excuses that will justify why you can't have what you'd like to have. You have to come back to your self-worth and peel away the things that are not allowing you to feel like you are deserving of that, and then you can move up vibrationally to reset your intention of what you'd like in a relationship. It's really important to understand. People, I say this, everything I talk about in my work is about vibration, because if you don't understand vibration, you're not going to understand how energy works. We are vibratory beings. Every thought we hold, every word holds a vibration. A positive word, high vibration. Negative word, thought, worry, fear, lack, low vibration. So whatever we are vibrating at, we are signaling out that vibration. Law of physics is what you signal out is returned to you. That's the vibrational return you are receiving back. So if you're always in this, it's never enough, I never have enough money, it's always, guess what? That's what's all going out. And so what is that going to get back? The same return. So you have to move into the higher vibration if you want where the good job is, the great guy is, the great woman is, or the great money is, and you're down here. Even if you're sending out the intention and manifestation every day, you'll never get it. You have to move your vibration up to be the recipient, meaning even though, and it just starts with that, even though I never had it before, I let myself have it now. Even though I never thought it was possible, I allow it to be possible now. Even though it's always for someone else, it's not for me, I let it go, I allow it to be for me. You have to move up to be the recipient of what you want for yourself. So your vibration is the key to everything else. If you want a good relationship, you want money coming into you, go and look at what your self-esteem is. Gauge from 1 to 10 what that number would be. 10 is like really, really bad, and 0 is like, I feel like I'm the shit, I'm the bomb, Okay, who are you in between? Find out what that number is. That's the core issue. That's the issue that needs to be addressed. And then ask yourself, why do you feel this way? Like maybe you weren't the smartest one in your family. Maybe they always pointed you out. Maybe at school, a teacher said something that left a mark on you. Then I would say work with somebody to clear your limited beliefs, get them transmuted, see your worth and your value, because there is not one person out there. I'm sorry, I don't care who you are on this planet. There is not one person walking out there that is better than you.
Yeah.
It's only that you believe that. Yeah. And that's a false truth that will limit you in everything that you do in your life. Yeah. So please stop looking at who the other people are or where they're landed or what they've done, or compare yourself, or she's more this or he. Great. And allow them, wonderful, allow them to be. See who you are. Find out what you have. If you can't be the cheerleader for you, don't expect anyone else to be.
Yeah. And it's a hard one. I couldn't even say I loved myself at a seminar I went to once. We had to stand up and say, I love in your name. And I had a nervous breakdown. So
I did. You've come a long
like,
way,
oh
baby.
My God, oh my God, oh my God, I can't do it. And I didn't do it. And so wherever you are, it's okay. A lot of it is about feeling safe, right? Again, that safe feeling, because there's something inside of you saying, wait a minute, if I think I'm fabulous, because I certainly was raised, don't think you're great, but go be the best you can
Mm,
be, right?
mhm.
Who do you
Yeah.
think you are? And so that there's mixed messages in there, and you're not meant to be anybody else, right? You're meant to do you. And here's the funny thing is, we're like, I want the soulmate and I want more money and I want to do a fulfilling work. And it's okay to want all of that stuff. But when you raise your vibration and you clear these old memories, right? You clear this energy and you become a channel that you're constantly being fed and every second with infinite energy that you could do whatever you want with. But like you were
Yeah.
saying, if you take it and put it into the old fears and the old projections, then you're just recreating the same thing. Once you get up to a higher level, what you want is probably going to be something completely different.
Completely different.
And I think Reese said, you go out, you achieve, you think who you're supposed to be, you make a lot of money. I mean, I've had a lot of businesses, I've made a lot of money, I've reached those pinnacles. Oh, this is
Yeah.
it. And then you always hear that story, like you're not happy or you're not fulfilled or something's missing or it goes away. And then you think you failed, but no, you climbed a mountain. You don't stay on the top of the mountain. You go back down the mountain, find another mountain to climb, right? You have these moments of shifting and achieving. So
Exactly. Exactly.
wonderful. Oh, well, we can do this for hours and hours and hours. It's so amazing. So what would you like to share? Just tell us your website. Like I said, everything that you need to know about Reese and Donna Marie and everybody else who's going to come together. They're all there. We're going to give them emails and with the replays and everything else. But share your website.
So it's www.donnamarie.ca. And, on my website, all my programs are there, everything that I offer. In the last year, really the work I've been doing the most, because I do have quite a few different programs, but I've been really zoning in mostly on this program that was channeled through me. It's called Lift and Shift. And it's a 30-minute where we come in with spirit and we scan, lift and clear anything that is stopping you, what you're allowing. So it's for people to understand that we can only clear what you're willing to let go of. And so, the people say, I've been healed before. And it's like, well, healing is a constant state of being, but because we're always taking on more energy, so you can always be releasing more energy. But it's where I allow that person to just release what they're holding on to that is lowering them or not allowing them to step into their vibratory alignment. So we clear and transmute the energy, and then spirit will come in and realign them to what they're ready for now. And then after that, I have programs to teach you how to anchor in ground, teach you how to move forward. Like if you want to learn how to do this, I always say you should have a mentor that can, when things pop up, they can tell you what's happening. But, this is where you can reach me. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on YouTube. So I'm out there.
YouTube is where you do your satsang, right?
Well, my satsang isn't on YouTube. Satsangs I
sorry.
do once a month. And these are incredibly powerful activations that my spirit team comes through. I work a lot with the intergalactic. So it's a lot of outside of the physical world, different energies that come in, and with messages, with activations, with clearings. Most people who come usually get amped up from the energy, meaning their skill sets start to just go through the roof. Again, I never know what is going to come through. It's always different. We do them once a month, and I never know what's going to happen, but they're quite powerful. So the satsangs are
about your free gift.
Oh, and my free gift is the circle breath. So the circle breath is really good if you want to learn how to come into your heart. What it does, it's just a breathing technique that helps you to clear out stress and anxiety. It recenters you and realigns you with your heart. So this is giving you permission to let go of the energy you're holding on to that could be taking space but not serving you, meaning lowering you vibrationally. And then it moves you into higher vibration and realigned back into your set point. It's really fast, really easy to do. It's great when you're overwhelmed, when you're stressed, when you're worried, when you're fearful. I would say just do that breath work all the time. Super quick, super easy.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, sweetie.
You're so welcome. It was wonderful to be here.
Yeah. It's so much fun, and I know there's a lot more people who have questions, but believe me, we're going to go deeper and deeper and deeper for the next couple of weeks. So, thank you, sweetie.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you for being here, everybody. And I'm excited. Please report back. That's what I'm going to say, because I always get messaging weeks, months after these sessions happen. If whatever shifts or changes or things that have come forward. Now there's a collective, because you did something and Reese did something and I did something, but I was doing work through the whole thing as well. So I feel like there's going to be a very powerful, multifaceted kind of call today. So, just know that you were here. There was a reason you chose to be here, and whatever you were meant to receive, it will be in perfect alignment for you. That I know for sure. So wishing everybody the very best, and enjoy all of the other great, beautiful, gifted speakers that you will have. So love to you, honey. I love you.
Honey.